Hey there, everybody. Welcome back to another Get Ready With Me Plus Book Talk, this thing on my channel where I slap some makeup on my face while we talk about a specific book that has inspired me lately. And I also talk about some beauty thing or things that have excited me lately. The stars of today's video are really awesome. This one is the New Rare Beauty Foundation, which I bought yesterday, and this book that I received in exchange for my honest review, and I really think it's different than any other book about decluttering that I've ever come across. First, let me put this on. Well, no, first, let me show you this amazing packaging. Look, please focus. Focus, you can do it. Got it, yay. Do you see this genius open and close little thing here? Why don't all foundations with a bump have this? It's such a sleek, smart, nice to hold packaging. My color is shade 5. It's a pretty good match right now it looks a little light, but once you spread, it matches my neck really well. They have such a wide range for both lighter and darker skin tones. Usually I'm the second lightest, but I was surprised that I was number 5, but that just shows that they really care about nuances and they're really, really inclusive. And even though it matches my neck, I still always put some on my neck. And it has kind of a moussey consistency. Let me put it on my finger again. You see how it doesn't run. I'm not gonna focus on my finger. But you see, like it's not falling, but at the same time, it's not so solid like the Tarte Amazonian Clay foundation that I really liked for a long time. But it is heavier, put on a mask type of foundation. And this one, it gives a similar coverage but more natural. This is one layer. Look at that. It didn't cancel out all my little imperfections and rednesses, and I don't think that's what we want anymore in today's day and age, right? To be completely canceled out and look like wax dolls. There used to be a time that we wanted the complete matte look, but they're calling this the modern matte, so I think they accomplished it. I don't know that I call it matte, but it's a modern polish where you still feel like yourself, but it's not completely canceling out how your skin looks underneath. It's just making you look better. Speaking about questioning perfectionism, this brings me back to the book that we're talking about today, Making Home Your Happy Place by Katie Joy Wells. This is a book about decluttering, but I feel like this oversimplifies what this book is. This is definitely what I needed when I was first having kids and just in the eye of the chaos. Like, I really wish I had a book that would make me realize that there was nothing inherently wrong with me for not being able to get a hold of keeping a perfectly clean house, which I still don't, but I've come a long way since then. But back then it felt like an impossible task. I was focusing on the task and not on what was going on inside me, how life-changing, mental shifts changing, how all that affected my ability to tidy up or to have a system at home. And this book touches on all of that, which makes me very, very happy, especially as a former therapist, which I used to be one, in case you don't know. Excuse me. I briefly worked in a substance abuse treatment facility, and one of the things that would teach them the most is that it's not about the substance use as much as it is about your brain's pathways that led you there and that are keeping you there. One example that we give is that if you were to make your pathway through a field of grass, you would smush the grass on your way, and that would be your opening. So next time you want to go from point A to point B, you would end up going through that same pathway because it makes sense. Like, why would you go through the discomfort of opening another pathway? And that's kind of the way our brain works. Like, once it finds a way that works, at least temporarily, like substance use temporarily fixes their anxiety or depression or whatever they're going through, it learns that pathway, and it's really hard, it's really uncomfortable to form another pathway, to form another system, to wrap our heads around doing something different to achieve point B. Keeping with the Rare Beauty theme, this is not going to be a full face of Rare Beauty, but I do really like their concealer. My color is 140C, and it's not going to focus, so I give up. I like the little doe hood that you can just do like this. I also like to highlight this area, the corners, very lightly go down the nose and around my lips and here. But anyway, back to the book. I was so happy she touched on narrow pathways. Yes, thank you. If you're a neater person than I am, or someone that likes systems more than I do, I should say, because we shouldn't label ourselves lazy or neat. Like it can all vary, right? Depending on where we are mentally in our lives. She doesn't focus on the system. She's really thorough in pointing out how mental health and how we are physically and mentally directly affects our day-to-day operations. Here's another Rare Beauty product. I promise it's not a full face of Rare Beauty. I think after this one, that's it. But this is the liquid blush in Hope. But yeah, back to the book. She starts out describing a situation that I can't even imagine, but it's really relatable in terms of how life can completely pull the rug from under you, and how having a system at home, having a home that hugs you when you come home, like hug that feels like a haven, hence the title, Making Home Your Happy Place, makes a huge difference when everything else is chaotic. On the first chapter, she talks about going through a car accident with her husband and two sons that were only 1 and 2, and her husband was going in and out of consciousness. I mean, I can't even imagine. Going back to my trusty Laura Mercier powder, the newer formula with hyaluronic acid and rose. But yeah, so thank goodness her husband and kids are fine. He went through a long recovery process, but that's when she says that something shifted inside of her, of realizing. She said that she kept repeating to herself, I can't live like this. Like, we can't continue to live like this, because life was already, beyond the home, was so chaotic through the whole recovery process. And not to mention the trauma that they went through. My bronzer is a Makeup by Mario one in light. I like it that it's cooler tone. I have the Rare Beauty one too, but it's a little too warm tone for my liking. Anyway, we're talking about trauma, and trauma is something that really shakes us to our core because of the impact. It forces our neural pathways to shift, to change. Like, you need to find a way to cope with that wrench that was thrown in your system. While that is extremely painful, but it's also an opportunity, and I love it that Katie took that opportunity to make her system, make her neural pathways work better for herself, and now she's helping other people that may be stuck for whatever reason, either trauma or just habits. Like she said, sometimes you're stuck in a story that you didn't mean to write. I'm paraphrasing, I don't remember the exact words, but sometimes we're stuck in habits, stuck in things and systems that we don't even believe in, that aren't really working for us, but we don't really know how to go past it. And I already put blush on, but for good measure, I'm topping it with the Laura Mercier Chai blush. It just has this perfect rosy, it's pigmented though, so you need to barely touch it. I mean, see, I barely touched it, but if I went any stronger, I'd deeply regret it. I feel like with every blush you buy, you need to figure out the system that works with it. Just like we're all different, like we all have different, and I love it that this book also doesn't act like this is the only system that works for everybody. It encourages you to find your system, to find your pathway to having a happy home. Now, excuse me while I put on my brows outside of camera, because I tried it on camera before and that was a disaster. Now that I have brows, I'm gonna use a different eyeshadow palette than I used on my last Get Ready With Me Plus book talk. Is the Ilia, what's the name, Cool Nude. It's really good. I like it that it's top free, and I really love this shade for all over. That's what it looks like all over, and I mean, I still intensified it on the crease. And yeah, that's as colorful as I will go when it comes to eyeshadow. Usually I just stick with neutral browns or grays. But I thought today, let's have some fun. Let's shake things up a little bit. And also add some powder, because after 40, I've become an oil slick. Apparently. I don't know why. I don't know the logic, but it's happened and it drives me crazy. But not everything gets worse with age. I mean, it has definitely gotten a lot easier to set up systems around the house, or to develop naturally systems to keep things in place. Let me talk while I still do my makeup. This is the Lancome Lustilo waterproof eyeliner, and I just do a tiny wing. That's not to say I've transformed into a neat freak, not at all by any means, but that's to say that my kids are older, so they can understand more how clutter can affect you negatively. They can understand my point of view way better than they could when they were much younger. That's another thing that this book encourages, for parents to meet the kids where they're at when it comes to their cluttering habits, and help them develop a system themselves, and help them notice themselves when something needs to be put away. And that's such a compassionate and much more effective way to to get your kids to help out. As my kids grow, I also grow as a mom, and I've grown to understand, well, two things. One, to be patient where they're at, that they're going through a lot of changes growing up, and that also affects their ability to know how to deal with clutter, but also not underestimate them, not talk down to them in a way that makes them feel inadequate, that makes it the way that if somebody talked to me, that I would feel really bad, and I wouldn't really be encouraged to help out or to clean up. If you think of it realistically, I already primed my lashes with the Dior Lash Primer. This is a Lancome Flutter Extension Mascara. If you're doing something, if you're in the middle of doing something and somebody tells you, go do something else, it takes you a moment to finish what you're doing, to go do, or to put away what you're doing, to go do what they're telling you to do. And it would be unrealistic for somebody to just snap at you and just expect you to instantly be where they want you to be. And what difference does it make? I've seen the difference that it makes when I explain to my kids the reasoning to why I want them to do something. When I tell them, hey, when you leave towels on the floor, I need to instantly wash them because they're gonna go on your body when you get clean, so they can't come from the floor. Then they're like, oh, okay. And I tell them, I understand it's a small bathroom, you don't have much counter space, but try to remember, put them away. Talking to them with a level of respect that I would want somebody to talk to me. Because in the end, if we're honest, a lot of times when we snap at our kids or anybody else, we're just letting out our frustration on them without thinking rationally. We're not really communicating. We're just talking at them instead of with them. I'm gonna use the Charlotte Tilbury Moonlight Glow highlighter, which is a very natural looking one. It never looks streaky, which I like. See, this, I can't tell. I wouldn't call this foundation matte because I'm still very luminous. I like it. I like it a lot. But I just wouldn't call it matte. I would give it a different name. They called it modern matte, but not mad at it. I'm just saying it's not necessarily matte. But if it was necessarily matte, would I like it as much? Probably not. So no hard feelings, Selena. Now I'm gonna set it with the One Size SPF 28 setter that I use just for the SPF. Now lips, how could I forget about lips? Oh my gosh, my mind is all over the place. I've been liking this combo. This is the Makeup Forever Artist Color Pencil in, what's the color? Forever Walnut. Love it. And Makeup by Mario Rosewood Glow. The two of them, I think, create a really nice Your Lips But Better color. Look at that. It's a very rosewood type of color. Speaking of lips, just like how you talk to your children matter just as much or maybe more, or what you say. Talking to yourself, the way you address yourself, what you tell yourself, well, I'm lazy, I'm not good at cleaning up, or I'm not good at life. All of that can end up being like self-fulfilling prophecies because you're almost giving yourself an out, giving yourself an excuse to just say, well, that's just the way it is. See, this is well loved. So I like to scoop it with this brush that I have no idea where I got it from. But just a little brush. And then I just paint over it. And it has a really nice plumping, but not painful whatsoever, feel to it. And I need all the plumping I can get because after 40, everything goes to crap. Not everything, but your lips definitely get thinner. And even though I have a good amount of lip, but just like on the center, I feel like my lips don't go wide enough. I notice in pictures, I'm having a harder and harder time finding them. Like I put on lots of lipstick to look good in pictures, and then I'm like, still, where's my lips? So this definitely helps. Also helps that I sneakily go over the line a little bit. You can get away with a lighter color like that. Okay, enough applying. It just feels really good applying it, so that's why I keep doing it. But okay, we're done. Now the hair is down, the glasses are on. I feel like myself again. I think I'm more of a neat freak when it comes to makeup and hair. Maybe the way other people feel about keeping their home pristine. Like that's how I'd rather, if I only have time to get myself ready or the house ready, I'll always pick myself, but you know, to each their own. And this is definitely a book that you can get a lot of good stuff out of, even if you're not naturally a tidy person, if you're not too drawn to systems, but still you feel like you're in a rut and you don't feel like your home is hugging you in the phase that you're in. get a hold of this book. I actually happen to have a free copy. If you would like it, let me know in the comments. Tell me how I can reach you in a way that you feel comfortable sharing in the comments, like maybe your Instagram handle. That's all I got for today, guys. Let me know in the comments what you thought of everything that I talked about today. Do you feel in a rut, or have you felt in a rut, and what has helped you get out of it? Or what do you think could help you today? I'd love to know. Add a little home emoji on your comment if you watched this far, so I'll know, and I'll be so excited. I think there are two home emojis. There's one with the tree, one without the tree, and the one that represents you. It's like every home is different. You can make your home emoji comment your own. If you like this video, if it helped you, inspired you in any way, please give it a like. That will help me out a lot. If you haven't subscribed yet, please do. That will help me out even more. And I will see you again on the next video. Bye bye.